Welcome back to ESA Winter 2021. We are raising money for Alzheimer Fonden. Links to donate can be found below the stream. We would also like to thank Koei Tecmo Europe, Neo 2 the Complete Edition, Twitch, and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now, it's time for stylonide running Futurama. Take it away.
Thanks, Mello. Yeah, I'm gonna jump right in as fast as I can. So hey everyone, I'm stylonide doing Futurama 80%. I'm joined with my co-commentator.
Hello.
It's Liquid. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get the run underway. So on go, we'll start the timer. We have this FMV that pops up. Alright, so yeah, I'll count down. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Futurama the game. Lots to say, lots to do. So this was actually developed by a small Swedish studio called Unique Development Studios back in 2003, shortly before the show was declared cancelled. Great timing. Great timing for the company too. They went bankrupt a year after this game, so that bodes well for this game's quality. This was going to be a big deal for games development for Swedish studios, but unfortunately just didn't really follow through for them. So in this game, we'll go through the story, because this level's quite boring. The professor walks into the Planet Express meeting room wearing a sombrero, which is very important to the story. You will be quizzed on this later. And declares that Planet Express has been purchased by Mum, the sort of megacorp owner of the future. And with this ownership of Planet Express, she has majority sharehold of the entire planet Earth. So she does the sane thing. She does the Bezos maneuver, which is basically enslaving everyone and putting a curfew in with hoverbot death troopers. So we don't like that. So we're going through Planet Express right now, just picking up a bunch of knickknacks for the professor, because the ship's busted for some mysterious reason, which we don't know yet. And we need to figure out what's going on. So he sent Fry around. There's a whole little thing about how the game's live system works, which is a whole nother explanation. It's worth looking into if any of this seems interesting. But that's the preamble to everything. So looking at the game as a whole as a speedrun, we play as Fry, Bender, and Leela in that order, and then we do another round trip at the end with the three of them. Fry is the least tech intensive, so he's pretty simple. So that's level 1, 125, we'll take it. So what we found is we're missing the dark matter engine. The professor sold off the spare engine because it was a spare and wasn't being used. Seems sensible to me, but now we gotta go get it back. So we're going through underneath New York to get it back. So we're coming into an actual level now, one that's not just gathering everything in Planet Express. This is sewers, and if you are familiar with the ESA 16 run from way back, this level will be looking a lot different now to how it used to. So originally, we would just run through the sewers, and we'd try to skip what we could, just using Fry's movement as much as we can. But now, thanks to a member of the community, Toxic Pinhead, I would credit him for everything he's found, but I'd be dropping his name probably more than any other word during this run. The dude's a genius. What we found is you can sort of hit this checkpoint and walk back through the door before it shuts, which deloads the rest of the level behind us here. We can jump out of bounds and get on the ceiling. And it's pretty chill from here on out. We just run across, and that's about it. Aside from the movement here, so you want to make sure you stay on top of these little platforms because they're sort of curved, and you really don't want to fall back in bounds too early because the level can sort of break because of what we've done. I'm just pulling the camera down because it helps geometry load so I can see where I'm going, but other than that, it's a really chill excursion through this level compared to what it used to be, and it looks a lot cooler too. I'm a big fan of this find. This ended up cutting, I think, maybe a minute and a half or almost 2 minutes off of the runtime, just this one trick. And in the time I've been running this game, which is about the past 10 months, there have been a lot of finds. This game went from about, I think, 58 minutes in game time to something like 45 minutes is the current record. And the game has potential to go to a 44 time, so it's lots and lots of finds, so we're going to be taking a look at those as we go. This is my least favorite Fry trick, which I could say for many Fry tricks, but it's called ladder jumps. You saw it there. There's a point on the ladder where I can jump and get over it, so we got both. That's very nice. That saves such a small amount of time, but they're very punishing to miss. So, very, very happy about that. So the reason well, actually, that was it for ladder jumps, but part of what's important in this level is health management, so I wanted to keep some health conserved for jumping down there. I took one more hit than I wanted to, but that's okay. And you basically just use that so you can jump straight down, and if you have enough health, which I'm a little bit low on, so I'm going to take some jumps, you can just sort of walk through this goo and not worry. But yeah, health's a little low, but that's no worries. We're basically at the end of this level. So you just take care of this guy, which triggers the wall next to him to break, and we just ignore everything and run on over to the end, and that's Sewers. And an absolute mouthful of describing.
That
So,
was
yeah.
an excellent Sewers.
It was... Look, I'll take the compliment. It could have been a little better. You know what? No, I'll just take it. That was the best
Take the
Sewers of all
compliment.
time. Truly the best Sewers
Nothing
we
better.
will ever see. 253, there's nothing better on the IL boards. So this is Subway. This is actually the first level I learned. Again, we're looking at just a lot of standard movement for Fry. So what you want to focus on, if you're like a new runner, is just good camera movement here, good use of the targeting system, and just sort of knowing how enemies behave. So I shoot this mine and jump on this debris. And then, like, this is really cool. It's a bit of a swaggy trick. You can hold upright and jump, and just none of them hit you. Little things like that with Fry are what really count in his segment of the run. It's not as awesome as Bender and Leela, but I kind of like how the run goes. It sort of builds up to the really sweet tricks as you go. So yeah, there's been a lot of little optimizations in this level, like just running through and not stopping to hit the mine, sort of knowing how Fry's gunshots behave. It's all really little mechanical stuff, but something if you're picking up the game, the targeting system is based on where Fry is facing, not where the camera is facing. Knowing that makes the biggest difference with shooting in this game, I swear. A very small thing, but it's very handy. So yeah, we're coming up on the end of this one. This is a nice short level. Always a big fan of how it just looks like a really discount store version of Max Payne 1's early levels. But making our way through to the end here. So something good about the shotgun that I should have mentioned, it does considerably more damage than the pistol, so I can just one-shot mines, and I can do a brief charge, and it'll just kill enemies instantly. So it's super handy, whereas the pistol you need to use a lot of charge shots, so it's very fast to just, like, use the standard attack and break mines.
Yeah,
Alright,
there's
sub
a
6
couple
minutes.
of couple of different upgrades to the guns that we're going to be seeing a bit later into the run.
Yes.
And then there's just one that's completely broken and kills everything in one hit.
Yeah, intentionally broken, but broken nonetheless. Unless you're not referring to the railgun and you're referring to...
No,
the
I
tunnel
am
gun.
referring to the railgun.
Yeah, the railgun is a meme, but it's a fun meme. So this is a trick that's Xbox exclusive, if I can actually get it. There we go. So this is Old New York skip. This is a pretty big deal. This skips, like, I want to say like a minute of combat. And we hit a checkpoint, and then we death warp to that checkpoint, and that skips a lot of stuff. That skips an additional chunk of time just getting around that. And now because of that, so Liquid, let's talk about this game's triggers. So, this game has triggers on checkpoints and off checkpoints, but checkpoints aren't triggers. So we hit the checkpoint, but we didn't hit the trigger, so enemies haven't spawned. Speaking of triggers, there's another one here on this arrow. Let's see if I can not hit it. Or maybe. Oh no, we spawned them. So you can actually despawn the enemies if you jump that right, but that's okay. You can manage these enemies pretty effectively, even if you hit it. I gotta do a weird claw grip for that rocket guy. Alright, our health is nice and comfy. We're all doing okay. Alright, sweet. Fantastic. Yeah, so getting the despawn there is considerably cooler, in my opinion, than fighting the enemies, but regardless, you get to see some, again, just optimized movement. Once you know how enemies behave, where they're gonna shoot, you can very confidently rely on that. There's very little RNG with their AI. Also didn't jump off that ledge, so I may have gotten the pig. I really hope not.
Please not the pig.
Not the soft lock pig. Okay, we're good.
Alright.
I think it's the other jump that matters. So there's a pig that can spawn there that either soft locks the game or considerably slows you down. It's a little terrifying. I was perhaps about to hyperventilate, but we won't talk about that. So the rest of this level's really chill now. So once we're through there and we dealt with that room, it's just sort of running through these tunnels. There is very mild RNG on some fan blades that stop spinning on these little control panels. You're about to see it right around this corner right here. So you want them to stop spinning earlier, because touching those things at all when they're spinning, even if they're slowing down, will kill Fry instantly. And I don't want that, because that would be slow. So we're going to keep moving through here and taking it easy. Alright, and second fan. So you can actually get through this tunnel almost entirely pacifist, but I'm gonna just take out certain enemies so that there's just no chance of damage whatsoever. And we are at the end. Fantastic. We're out of the danger zone of Fry. So now we're into the fun levels of Fry, which are 2 levels. We've got Red Light District and Uptown, which is where we finally get the Tommy gun, which is a very cool gun. So some of these guns, you might have been hearing some different sound effects. They have charge attacks. And the Tommy gun charge attack is particularly awesome because instead of how long you charge it for determining the power of the attack, it determines how many shots are fired. So you'll see me sort of hold it just for a brief amount of time to kill some enemies very quickly, and then for longer times when I need more bullets. Also, I took like no damage from those guys. They're being nice. I was practicing and I got like shredded. So that's another improvement from way back in the SA-16. If you sort of jump onto those crates at a certain point, a lot of the enemies there just won't spawn, and you can sort of just get away with them just chipping away at your health. Alright, here's to not getting sound glitch. No sound glitch. Awesome. So yeah, there's an example of the charge attack there. I sort of held it down, locked onto an enemy, locked onto another, and I was able to carry those high damage bullets over to the next enemy. So it's really, really handy stuff. Again, like, this is all the little stuff in Fry. Wait till we get to Bender and Leela, where it's like, yeah, so I'm just gonna clip through whatever wall I want. It's gonna be very fun. But we gotta build up to it. We gotta earn that stuff. So here's another really cool use of the charge shot. If you stand in front of this guy, don't lock on, and then swing around with the lock on, we can one-shot that guy, which opens the door, and we're through. So this is going, I'd say for marathon standards, this is a pretty okay Fry. So coming up, this is Uptown. Uptown had a recent discovery that speeds up the level just that little bit more. We used to jump up on a booth to get through the level, which was very janky and weird, and not fun. But now we use a trash can, which can break, which is also not fun, but if you know which enemies to shoot at and how to move, then it's always nice and consistent and comfy. So we switch to the hammer. Weapons have different hitboxes, so the weapon's good for, the hammer is good for climbing. Please don't grenade me. Oh, alright, I'm gonna take this very careful. Okay, I died. That's alright, we have hit a checkpoint, I think. Yes, we have. Alright, that's no problem. A little bit sad to take a death there, but it is what it is. That was very unlucky getting naded there, so very little you can do. But carry on. So we just take out this room. There are different ways you can approach the pattern and do your thing. This is usually the pattern I just take, because it's just comfortable. And then we jump on the chicken walker, and we are through with Uptown, and we're onto a very long, very boring auto-scroller. So I'll explain one mechanic, and if we have donations, I guess we can hand over to those for a little bit.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, just let me know.
Cool, so I'm going to explain this whole level. There are no headshots, you just want to keep as much of the enemy in the circle as you can, and there is a global pattern on missiles, so you need to know which sort of corner to adjust for on your shots. That's it. It's a very boring level, so take it away, Mello.
Okay, we have $5 from Richard Plays Stuff. They say, hi folks, had to donate during the run of the Aussie boys. Both stylonide and liquid have been keeping me sane during a UK lockdown that happens every 5 femtoseconds. Much love to you both. Cheers ESA also for everything you do. Stick this towards the Pink Ranger in Lightspeed Rescue. Cheers. Thank you, Richard Plays Stuff.
Thank you very much, Richard. So I got very unlucky there with some missiles, which I didn't really want to have to talk about, but there's some jank collision, and my missiles just flew through there. So I'm just going to have to just make up for that by using some standard shots on these guys. The Walker also has really terrible aim, I should say. It's not fun. But yeah.
Do I have time for another?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, sorry. This is like,
Sure.
I should have told you, this is like a 4-minute level, so go absolutely nuts.
Okay. We have a $35 donation from Nick179. Thank you so much, with no comment. However, I will say that by donating $35, Nick179 qualified themselves for not just one, but both of the monitors that you can have a chance to win through our sponsor ViewSonic. If, in fact, if somebody does exclamation point prizes in the chat, we'll have a direct link so you all can check out exactly what you can qualify yourself for winning.
awesome stuff. I think I've used one of those used Sonic monitors. I can vouch for them being very good.
Yeah, one of them
Very
is
cool
a
price.
240 hertz refresh rate.
Yeah, I'm just on a lowly 144 hertz myself for a 30 FPS Xbox game, no less.
I thought you had standards.
I gotta raise them, man. I gotta raise them. But yeah, if there are any more, please keep going.
Well, I will say that right now would be a great time to get your donations read. I'm quite surprised that I've not yet seen probably the most quotable Futurama thing from our friend Professor Farnsworth. I won't spoil it, but I'm sure somebody knows what I'm looking to read. So I'll be on the lookout for that one.
Alright, you guys know what to do. Alright, so I guess I could use this for some preamble or just talking about the story, but if there's anything that you would like to come in with, Mello, please let me know.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, story-wise, for those interested that have never played this game, we're about to get the Dark Matter engine. We've finally gotten onto the surface. That's pretty much it. After this, the Planet Express crew are going to escape Earth, and some things will happen. Some interesting things will happen in cutscenes that we're going to skip. So, good stuff. And coming up is Bender, which Bender, I guess, is a good time to talk about him. So I'm not front-loading, or not saying too much while playing as him. He has a lot more tech than Fry. He's very similar in controls, casually, to Crash Bandicoot. So he's got like a slide attack, he's got a spin, he's got like a body slam equivalent. And we're going to use those to our advantage, not to take out enemies, but to actually climb walls and avoid fall damage. So that should be pretty fun. We're also getting up to the final showdown of this level, so that should be nice. So aiming rockets, I'm just going to use this as a chance to talk about them, is really annoying, because you can aim in a good spot, and they'll just sail through geometry anyways. Or in that case, I just missed that guy. That was poor aim on my part. But that's what happened earlier. So there are actually spots where you want missiles to collide because they have this area of effect. You don't really want to land them directly on an enemy. And they don't do that much damage on chicken walkers, which is why you don't see me using them on those things either. That's what they used to be used on until we rerouted the level a while back, sometime last year. So yeah, there we go, that went okay. Other than that, this is probably like everyone's least favorite level. It's this or Run Bender Run, but at least Run Bender Run has the funny little skeleton on the boulder to look at. But yeah, it's pretty boring little level.
Briefly, I will say we have a donation from CKW518 for $35, and they say, "Good news, everybody!"
Excellent. This is what we like to hear.
And then we also have a $5 donation from Robot House, and they say, "Cheese it!"
That's a great episode they're referring to as well. What's it called? Mars University? With the guy who's always like, "Robot House!" And they're always getting up to mischief. Alright, we're out of Fry. We can start having fun. Excellent. So, we're coming on to Bender. So, the Planet Express crew have escaped Earth, and they are now trapped in a suck beam. That's what it's called by the game's characters. Not a tractor beam. Over a, like, little asteroid belt. And Mom's come after them. She's turned Earth into a giant spaceship to, like, destroy planets and take over the universe. So, Bender's fallen down on the asteroids, and he's just gonna climb all over the place. Going crazy here. So I'm using the butt stomp as like a second jump. I just skipped a little cutscene trigger there. You can also use his slide in midair to get some extra forward distance. And you can use his spin if you walk off of ledges to retain his grounded state and avoid fall damage, like that. So, you're following? There's a lot more here than Fry, so everyone, it's time to wake up, everyone. So, the other thing is his butt stomp has like a radius on it, so that lets me one-shot that guy if you get up real close. It's not just like a flat circle that goes outwards, it's like a hemisphere. So, yeah, Bender in Weasel Canyon. One of the big things about Weasel Canyon, we tried for so long to figure out the science behind this. So towards the end of the level, I'm going to jump on a nibbler in a cage. Since this isn't all nibblers, we're not going to be rescuing them. We're going to be very in character as Bender and using them for our own ends. But that nibbler sometimes used to despawn, and it puzzled everyone in the community. It was like, well, what's going on here? What do we do? And eventually I figured out, if you just don't die the whole level, he'll always be there. Sometimes you can die and he will be there, and sometimes you can die and he won't be there. So it's kind of a nerve-wracking level, or it was back in the day before a certain trick was found, because if you lost the Nibbler, you would lose a ton of time on this level. But, and this feeds into another piece of tech in the game, there is something called redirections. We also used to call them proxies, but it's not really a fully accurate name. Basically, Bender and Leela each have actions or attacks, in the case of Bender, that will send him in a direction you're pointing a certain distance, which is his slide attack. Now, what you can do with that slide attack, and this is where things get weird, let's say I pointed him along a wall that I couldn't get through, and then I rotated the camera by going into first-person mode and then exited before the slide had fully finished. The game would then think, oh, Bender's facing this way. He should have gone the distance that the slide would take him in that direction. And that lets you just go through walls, doors, pretty much whatever you want. You can get all over the place with it. So there's one use of it in this level. There is a second use if the Nibbler is gone, but we're pretty much in the green here in regards to, like, risky bits where I can die. So, there is a spot here. Oh, it's a little ways off, actually. You guys are going to have to wait in anticipation. But there's a little door you can break, and this is like the most meme use of the redirection in the entire game, because it saves maybe 2 seconds, but of course I'm going to go for it. So, when you get up to this door, instead of attacking it to break it down, you just face alongside it, do this, and you're through. That's a redirect. So you're gonna see a lot of those as we carry on with Bender and Leela. They are one of my favorite tricks. They completely revolutionized the run. When Liquid and I were running, it was... I think the best time was like a 55 or a 54. And when we just routed in some of the redirects, it immediately brought the time down to like a 48. And ever since, the game's gotten even lower. It's the sum of... My best possible time on my splits says something like a 44, and I want to go for that one day, so hopefully it can get that low. So there's been a lot of other stuff going on in this level. You might have noticed I sort of spun around there while one of Mom's 3 sons shot lasers at me. That just stops him from breaking through and hitting me. And you just want to leave at a certain time. So yeah, there we go. We hop on that Nibbler cage, jump over that little sheet metal, and leave him to never be rescued in true Bender fashion. So now we're making our way through to the end of the level, and also I lied, there is a second use of the redirect here, not as a backup, it's at the very end here. So there are 2 rock monsters here. Now as we know, we can one-shot these guys with a butt stomp like I did earlier, but that's ever so slightly slow, so instead we're just gonna clip into the elevator, like so, and that's Weasel Canyon. I know it's only been a short moment, Mello, but if there are more donations, there is another boring auto-scroller. The trick to it is hug the inside corners.
Okay, yeah, let's see, we have... an anonymous donation for $5, and they say, "Shut up and take my money." We also have another anonymous donation. Thank you both so much. This one for $35. No comment. I think the anonymous donor is very interested in winning one of our wonderful prizes in those ViewSonic monitors.
I'd say so. Maybe I should donate up my game to that 240 FPS, or hertz. I feel like this game in 240 FPS wouldn't be too much different. So yeah, the trick to this level, just jump around the barrels when you can, take the inside path. Honestly, my brain shuts off whenever I start doing this level, so at some point I forget to do some of the little optimizations. It's a very, very sleeper kind of level. Thankfully it's only about 1.5 minutes, so you're through it pretty quick compared to the Fry auto-scroller. And I guess coming up after this to introduce the next level is the mine facility. It's a very cool level. This was one of the big ones that myself, Liquid, a bunch of runners used to grind back in the day, and even now with the new set of tricks. It was just fun, and it's had a lot of little evolutions over time. And once redirects were introduced, the level was just completely busted open, like many other levels. So it should be a fun watch. Ideally, it should only be about 50 seconds, so we'll see how we go. A trick that Joe uses that is basically the same here. But what has become more busted in the recent 5 years is the front half of the level. So you used to have to go on all these pipes and go into this little area off to the right here and pick up a key card, and it's just all so tiresome. So instead, we just slide through the door. And you're good. You can also skip this little crusher. I did not skip it, that's a shame. I slid a little too late. There's a visual cue you want to use there that will get you through. But that's okay, if you miss it, you just go to the right instead of the left after getting past these guys. And there you go, on our way through the level. So there's a little checkpoint trigger there, I'm going to grab that, because marathon. And this is where the level gets very silly. We're going to get ourselves right out of bounds and skip a whole ton of platforming that you would do casually. So we get up here, run along the side, and go here, and like so. And we even landed on the little platform. How good is that? Alright. Yeah, so about a minute, not 50 seconds. Sorry to lie to everyone. I'll try to refund you that 10 seconds elsewhere. So, now we're on Red Rock Creek. This is another cool level, which has just become more and more busted over time, thanks to redirects and various other tricks. So, usually what you have to do here is you have to activate the timer and then do a bunch of platforming, but the developers kind of... You can just sort of get up here, and then you can just get through this door. So, and even if you didn't have access to redirects, it's just a matter of opening the door with the button you push that activates the timer, and then just jumping up there. So, wonderful game design on display. And the rest of this level is just optimizing your platforming, knowing where to jump that's safe, and just getting through. And we're coming up on the alien ship, which is a pretty cool little thing. It's the home of Liquid's infamous bender jump, which has provided many people laughter, I would imagine. But it's a pretty chill little section. So, for whatever reason, this little bundle of rocks with the dynamite, you need to activate the dynamite to jump over them. I still am not sure why. But we can scale this wall with Bender's butt stomp, and then just make our way across, and that saves us a little bit of time, knocking over the pillar, and we redirect through the door, and now we're in the alien ship.
These were so cool when I was a kid, 3 years ago.
And I had to let Bender say that line, because it's just great. So, we'll keep moving on through. And here is the Bender jump. It's very difficult. Here's what you do. You run forward, jump, and butt stomp. Didn't even take damage. That's how you know. Certified valid run. No. So, making our way through. I wonder what movie this could possibly be referencing. Probably Predator. No. So we're going to get through to the end, and you just use the spin to keep cancelling your fall damage, and it's very comfy, very nice. And we're on to the Junkyard, which this level was causing me an inordinate amount of pain in runs recently until I realized a very simple fix for the mistake I was making. And there was a point here where you sort of jump on a wall you're not meant to. It's a bit janky, and I kept slipping off until I realized it's just because I wasn't using a visual cue. So, pro tip for speedrunners, use visual cues. They'll help. So, there's a little dark rock I sort of look out for here, and I just jump on that, and then butt stomp, and we're through. And that's it. That's pretty much the worst part of the level done. So I'm going to go ahead and redirect through this door, which is going to be a very recurring trend as the run continues. You're going to hear that a lot. For instance, right here, where I redirect through this door. Twice, because I didn't get it in one go. Alright. So, yeah, this is the Junkyard. That's pretty much everything cool done there. You can walk along the edge here, if you know where all the stuff is falling, and avoid that. Same thing here, if you know where it's all falling, you can just sort of walk along there and you're fine. And then you want to hug this wall, and get through to the end like that, and that stops all the floor collapsing, so it's really chill if you just hug the wall there. If you don't hug the wall, you'll fall into a void, and that's... I don't recommend that, it's not particularly fun. But coming up on the end of this level, I'll talk about the next one a little bit. It's a very short one, which is why I'm sort of going to front load. It's called Rumble in the Junkyard, and the IL record by, I think it was Dark Devastation, was not matched in about 6 years until last week by me. I did not know for the longest time you could do it without butt stomps, so it's a surprisingly optimized little boss fight. There's several ways you can do it. You can actually stop Walt's AI from loading completely by just jumping over a checkpoint trigger, but it's ever so slightly slower, so we're going to make it exciting. We're going to let him activate, and just deal with him. So you can jump on this. Basically, you're meant to use the two turrets. One shoots out his shield, and then the other one shoots at him. Well, he wants me dead, but we're okay, though. Xbox can crash here. It didn't crash. Excellent. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. You're meant to fight him a certain way. We just don't. We just jump past him and run to the end, and it's pretty great. So, that's Bender. We're on to Leela now, which went from probably the toughest part of the game casually, and arguably the worst casually, to the best in a speedrun. Like, she used to be the hardest. She's still got a couple of technical things going on with her, but she's not too bad. But, yeah, lots to be aware of in Leela. So this is a level where you basically want to kill every enemy, because it will activate triggers. We want to just lead that guy into lava, because the kamikazes can do a lot of damage. You can do like half your health. So I sort of want to stand just past this corner, and just do a little spin, and that makes sure the kamikaze guy is following me. I can hear him following me. Excellent. So you want them to follow you so they just die, but you don't want them too close that they explode. So there's another one on my right there. He's following me, but he won't catch up to me. The reason you want to be careful is you want this one to hit you, to kill that guy without having to bother hitting him. So yeah, we're all good for the end of the level now. And then we get this guy, and there's more of the level after this, but killing this guy activates the trigger for the end of the level. So I'm just going to go in here, I'm going to take him out, checkpoint activates, and then the end of the level activates. Like that, and then we're through. So that was a nice little save. That was under a minute as well. It's always good to see. That level used to be like a minute and a half or like a minute 40, so like just that little optimization of being able to get through the wall and take that guy out and hit the checkpoint is pretty big. So this is left wing. Left wing has seen so many evolutions. So through that door I just walked past, we used to actually go in there and punch the wall 14 times, or 12 times, something like that. And it would actually activate one of the game's Easter eggs, which would turn you into Giant Leela, which gives you access to fireballs. But unfortunately, that's slow, so we don't do that anymore. But it was a fun little error for the game. This level has seen a lot of little evolutions, but once redirects were found, it was just completely broken. So before we discovered this tech, if we saw a shut door like this, to us that was a soft lock. That was just the end of your run. We needed to pick up these blue crystal things, but we don't do that anymore. So we tried for the longest time to figure out routes around the level that would still like hit triggers and load things, and it was a really tough time. And then Toxic Pinhead comes into my chat one day and he just says, "Hey, I figured out how to get through a door in Bender," and the rest is history. So it's really busted this level open. There was so much going out of the way that we had to do. We couldn't just cut a corner like this, for instance. We'd have to go into this like temple off to my left and do a bunch of stuff there, and it was all very, very slow. Maybe a little interesting, but very slow. Now it's just non-stop, completely broken gameplay, which is wonderful. So as you can see, we used to not even use that gate normally in runs. We'd jump over it, now we just roll through it. That's a real speedrun evolution right there. And I'm also, something I haven't explained, there's actually a bit going on with Leela here. I'm rolling and you might hear a roll sound and then hear a punch or see a punch. That is reducing Leela's hitbox. If you punch while she's rolling, it will cancel the roll animation, but it will give you the hitbox she has when she's rolling forwards or to the side, which is about half her size. And that lets me jump up into the ceiling like that, and then I restore the hitbox and jump out, and it sort of pinches you out of bounds. It's very handy. This is right wing, like left wing. This is a bit of a scary level. It always has been. But it's a lot less scary with this new tech. I have already saved about 40 seconds by doing this over old strats. So, very cool. What I'm doing there is I'm also using the redirection tech to avoid cutscene triggers, which aren't really like the worst time losses, but they are time losses, so we'll get away from those. And then we're just hitting checkpoint triggers to make sure part of the level loads. That's one you need to hit, otherwise this room will have nothing in it. Thankfully it has things in it. And that's one of the tougher ones. We got that redirect, excellent. Yeah, this level is, there's so much going on here. Liquid actually routed in something there way back, but you know what, we're already past it. Brain can't think about the old route, we're doing the new one, so... But it's seen so much evolution, and it's a really interesting watch if you go and look at like old routes and old ILs. If you jump on that platform a little further away than I did, you will actually skip the little cutscene that activates this head. But we activated him, no big deal, we're already away from him. We hit that little cutscene, that's a bit of a shame, but it's only like 3 seconds. And yeah, we just, there's a recurring trend, especially in Leela over Bender, where you just go through absolutely everything. And it's pretty ridiculous. So we're going to keep making our way through the level here. There's another piece of Leela tech I'm going to use. It's a very underrated one in my opinion. It only has like 2 uses in this run, but if you've built up full momentum with your character, which takes like just a second or 2 of running, you can do a little flying kick, which I did there, which you just do by hitting attack, and it carries you across that ledge very comfortably. You can do it with a standard jump, but it makes it needlessly tight, and a good chance you'll miss it. So the end of this level, there's lots of stuff going on with triggers, once again. We're going to clip into this door, hit the checkpoint, get back out, then we're going to go back up here, and get out of bounds onto the ceiling. That's one of those crystal things that we don't use, because they're slow and lame. So now we're on the roof. We are not going to do this pillar room, because once again, it's slow and lame. So we're going to get on the roof here, jump up into this room, jump onto the potted plant, get onto the doorway again, jump back over, because jumping on the potted plant hits an invisible trigger that activates the end of the level. Oh, that's a shame. I'm going to have to take it back up. I got a little too cheeky for the game's liking. Alright, so that's okay. When that happens, I'm glad I practiced this back up. You just pop back in here, and this activates the enemy's AI, and it shuts the door. So now we're going to use Leela's cancelled roll state to jump up on this door. And come on, there we go. And that gets us back on the potted plant, so we can have another shot at this. And I'm going to just take this easy. There we go, and that's right wing. That's really the only spooky bit, is the very end. Because it can still go wrong, even with current strats. But we're out of there. Good stuff. Alright, so now we're on Temple Courtyard. This is about a 4-minute combat-based... I hesitate to use the term auto-scroller, but it basically is one. If I can get out of the wall. There we go. So this won't quite be 16 seconds, but it went from several minutes to 16 seconds. There used to be another strat used where you jump up on this ramp and go around, but once again, thanks to redirects, we just go right through. So we're up to the last level right now. For the second last, I should say, but basically the last of her segment, before we get up to the 1 Zoidberg level, which is a good time. And this is the redirect taken to its absolute peak. This used to be a slow room, there used to be a pendulum skip strat here. I practiced it earlier and it's a tough strat. I'm not going to go for it, especially since I think this is still okay pace.
I also lost $100 on this pendulum skip.
Yes, you did! And someone in my stream lost 50. So... people have said to me, like... So, for context, basically we're just going to be doing redirects through here, and then, like, holding down on the stick so Leela doesn't walk into lava. You can sort of see it with the camera. So, for the Australian Speedrun Marathon last year in July, I did any percent before redirects were a thing, with Liquid as co-commentator, and he said, I bet you $100 you won't get pendulum skip first try, and he has lived to regret those words. But I mean, hey, at least you didn't put it on Dogecoin or something. So anyways, we've clipped through here, and because we haven't killed the enemy, the floor hasn't activated to sink into the lava here, so this is a very chill room. Oh yeah, and the other one, the $50, that was just someone in my stream saying, if you get it first try, I'll give you $50, and I got it first try. So, anyways, we haven't activated this floor. It's very, very easy going. You just follow the funny blue line and don't fall into the funny lava. And that's about it. There's a room just up ahead, which I have been trying my darndest to figure out a skip for, but unfortunately we don't really have one figured out yet. So you want to take out these enemies in here, which is where I use one of Leela's special attack charges, because it does a ton of damage. I'm going to use it again. They're kind of like the on-foot equivalent of the rockets in Fry's Chicken Walker section. So this is big brain gaming. We have memorized the puzzle. Truly high IQ stuff right there. So this is actually pretty cool. So now that we're done with the boring room, this fan room, you have to hit all the buttons, but in any percent, you can just go through here, and the camera's up above you, and that's a problem, right? But we hit a checkpoint, so we just death abuse in some lava that we know how to get to, and we respawn, camera's back to normal, and we can carry on as intended. So that was another, like, if any of you are keeping tally at home, rapidly trying to see how much redirects have saved, the answer is a lot. And that's just another instance. This is probably one of the scariest ones coming up here. Excellent, we got it. So there are these pillars that come in and squish you. And if you redirect in too far, then you get squished. Not very fun, do not recommend. And now we're just going to carry on through to the end of the level, which will have the Sun God skip. I'm also going to try to get into the room with a bunch of lag. We'll see how I go there. What's my health like? Yeah, we got good health for it. Excellent. I nearly got swept off by that. Oh my goodness. Alright. So Sun God Skip you want to have pretty much near full health for, and you'll see why shortly. But there are some skeletons you can kill here, but that would be slow, so I'm going to try to go in without killing any of these guys. They lag the game super hard when you get near his arena. The game just doesn't like it. So let's see if I get through. We got through! Excellent. Alright. That's actually really annoying to get, so I'm pretty happy about that. So, Sun God Skip. Alright, so you want to roll cancel your hitbox for a start. Whenever you roll into this guy, you can move him around, and if you obviously keep your roll hitbox, you sort of retain that property. So we're going to run up to him, which you are not meant to do, and push him to the edge of his platform, which is going to stop him from attacking. Excellent, we have done it perfectly, and that is basically Sun God Skip. So as you may have noticed, I took a butt-ton of damage, and you really don't want to take too much, because you need to be able to take damage on these. That's bad.
How dare you hit a woman?
Yeah, no, I have to take a death there. That's unlucky. I waited a little too long. So as you notice, they kind of flash. His whole fight just bugs out super hard. So you get to see this all again. And process exactly what's going on with this guy. So we grab the thingy. Oh my goodness. Could this be the one, Liquid? Is Sun God getting his revenge? Oh my goodness.
After all these years.
After all these years, aka 10 months of me running the game. Alright, let's just calm down and get the skip. There we go, we calmed down, we got the skip. Easy peasy. Third time is the charm. So, what you want to do is you actually don't want to do what I did where I waited here. You just want to beeline for these things, and they'll flash, and you'll grab them. And then you place it, jump over his shockwave attack, then you jump onto this one. Again, you'll take some damage. This is why you want to have some health after the attack. And then we grab this health, and what you do with this last one, you actually wait for a moment, then you jump. Otherwise, you take 2 ticks. And I actually had so much health on that third attempt, I could have taken the 2 ticks. But most of the time there, you only have enough for 1 hit, and then you'll die. So, again, pro tip, just wait on that one. Just take it easy. Being slow there will mean you go faster in the long run. Exactly. So, this is the tower climb. It's boring. I actually routed this, like, maybe 20 minutes before my ESA run. There's a shortcut you can take that is 1 second slower. At least RTA, and I imagine it's the same in-game, so don't take the shortcut. Again, go slow to go fast. So, we got... I mean, with 2 deaths on Sun God, that's clearly my MO right now. So we're on Bogad Swamp Trail, which is a Crash Bandicoot Warthog level. It's actually very fun. It's got some good music too, but it is an auto-scroller, and not much goes on here, so Mello, do we have any donations?
You know it!
Alright.
How about this? We got $10 from Mindy Moo. Thank you, Mindy Moo. They say, good luck, Dan. Enjoying the stream. Smiley face. Love, Maddie and Luke.
That is my sister. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mind.
Thank you, stylonide sister. Okay, we also have a $5 donation from Elvis Unknown. They say, good news, everyone. In the future, Alzheimer's will be a thing of the past, thanks in part to our donations. Thank you, Elvis Unknown.
Thank you very much, yeah.
I got skills to not pay bills.
Can
Please,
I
if
read
you got
one more?
Absolutely. You got like 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna read one more and then talk about why we're here. So,
Fantastic.
We have a $35 donation from Disturbed Freak with no comment. But if that number sounds familiar to you, that's because if you go to prizes.esamarathon.com, you may see that you are eligible. Disturbed Freak is now eligible to win not just one, but both of our lovely monitor prizes. One of which stylonide keep talking about is 240 hertz. It's making us very excited.
Oh, yeah.
stylonide, he has a 144 hertz monitor. I have a 165 hertz monitor and noticed a difference. Just saying.
Flexing on me.
Oh yeah, when I moved up to the 165, I was like, whoa, this is wild. Okay. Also, we're here for the Alzheimer Fondant. I just want to say that the goal of Alzheimer Fondant is to be an important research financer in this work. In the absence of effective medicines, it is important to reach the best preventative measures for Alzheimer's disease. So once again, thank you everybody. Whether you donate $5, $10, or $35, every single penny is appreciated because it's all going towards such a great cause.
Absolutely. You still got time to fit more stuff in. Anything you like.
Don't blow it like you always do.
Sorry, I was reading. You said I can get one more?
All good. Yeah, no dramas.
Okay, gotcha. We have a $65 donation from Solid Drake. Thank you so much. They say, finally, I'm old enough to earn and donate money. I am very proud to be a part of the gaming community and happy for these entertaining charity events. Keep up the good work, guys. Let's kick Alzheimer's the butt.
Good save. Alright. So we're coming up on the end of Zoidberg. And also, story-wise, I guess we should, there's a lot I missed. Basically, they got out of the suck beam, then they got thrown into the sun. We got off the sun, and, Zoidberg just went to a time machine to send them back into the past. And now we're gonna do that. So now we have gone to confront Mom. They've crashed the ship in Planet Express, which is why it's all busted at the beginning. Told you there'd be a test. Hope you guys remembered this. And, we've been sent through a trapdoor, and we have to get back up to the top to tell the professor, don't sell Planet Express. Oh, I missed the checkpoint there. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here, I'm not just throwing myself off of here for funsies. I'm trying to hit a checkpoint trigger down the bottom. There we go, there it is. Lovely. Alright, so we're gonna hit a trigger on opening this door here. And then we're going to hopefully skip... Oh, we didn't skip the checkpoint. Oh, not the checkpoint, sorry, the cutscene trigger. But that's okay, you know, there are these lasers in our way, and they seem very scary, and if only there was some way for me to just go through them and... Oh, that's right. Alright, so anyways, we're gonna clip out of bounds here after hitting the checkpoint, and we're gonna respawn, and that sort of sets everything right and spawns these guys. We're just gonna fight them off and get through to the end of the level, which is very close. It's been a bit janky. This game janky, imagine that. That's a strange thought. So anyways, take these guys out, take his buddy out, and then we're gonna get 2 more to go, and then we're at the end. So you'll notice the floor ahead of me, it's just like a black void. That is to do with the way we've gone through the level. We have gotten up to some mischief and the game doesn't like it. So it's going to be a bunch of tiles that fall to into a bottomless pit. So what we need to do is, once this guy moves out, is get away from where we were standing, because there was a little beep that told me the floor's going to go away there. So very, very technical stuff. And that's the end of that level. So we've got 2 levels to go now. And this is one of my favorite levels coming up, Leela's Last Laugh. Again, it's had some really cool strat evolutions, and if I do this right, you're not even going to know what I did. I'm trying to land on a very small piece of geometry out of bounds and get onto the ceiling, which will allow me to walk through a ton of the level, and then I'll explain from there if we get it. So let's see what we do. So we got it, and again, there was no time for the game to even load what I was standing on there, but we stood on this little, like, turret thing that goes out of bounds. It has a tiny little beam that I can stand on, and lets me get up on the ceiling here. So when we get on the ceiling, there's a specific door that we want to open. I love how this sounds like playground game conspiracies, by the way, like stuff your friend would tell you that's not even true. But you want this door to open, and then we death abuse, go back to the start. Now that this magic door is open, the end level trigger is active, which is, funnily enough, right up here through this wall. So we just loop around, hold Y to interact, and there we go, we hit it. It was somewhere along there, and we got it. We're on the last level of the game, so 43:52. I think we're looking at like a 48:49, so a little bit slow, but good for a marathon. I'll take it. So Fry fights back. It's actually very chill, very easy last level. So again, Fry's not very tech intensive. That theme does continue here, but there are a few cool things that we do towards the end. But yeah, this is the home of the extremely broken railgun that Liquid mentioned at the beginning of the run. And it does indeed one-shot everything. Its aiming's a little finicky, but it's damage more than makes up for it. So there are a couple things going on in this level. You want to pick up key cuts, and you're going to see some lasers coming up here, and they actually do have a fixed cycle. They're not random. What I'm looking for here is one that comes really close to me, that one. And that means when I go here, and I'm in this little doorway... Oh, I still got hit. Okay. Never mind. Game's looking to prove me wrong. But you want a certain laser cycle there. I might have been a little late there. Basically, it's a certain burst of lasers that keeps looping. So hopefully we can get it right this time. That is looking good. I think I actually stopped it early. There we go. So this is a number pattern. A lot of people get deceived and think this is a maths thing. it's just a pattern. And I would explain it, but it takes much longer to explain than it does to do. But believe me, despite me saying it takes ages to explain, it is very simple. So we just punch in those numbers. I mean, I memorize them, so I'm sort of cheating. I just know what they are. But punch in 24881, and now we have the railgun, the wonderful railgun, which has a very long barrel, which means hitting enemies can be a little janky sometimes, like that. But this is very, very chill from here on out. We're just gonna go ahead and pick up key cards, kill some robots, and get on our way to Destructor, the final boss of the game. And remember that sombrero I told you guys about at the beginning. Keep that in mind. We're going to revisit what that was all about. So the code here is 9816. Again, it's basically counting up and down at the same time, and that's the pattern. It just alternates. So there you go. You've learned the secret of Futurama's intense puzzles. So yeah, we're going to go through, and Destructor has a pretty cool little thing where you can actually trick him into thinking he's hitting you without taking damage, and that affects his attacks. So you're going to see that when we get there, which should be very shortly. There's 2 more key cards to go. That will be cool. So he's actually the only bit of real major RNG in the run, which is very, very epic. The one bit of RNG is all the way at the end of the game. I lost 12 seconds on my latest PB to him just being very uncooperative, so that was cool. But hopefully he'll behave, you know. He'll behave for ESA. We donated our lives to Sun God, so maybe Destructor will recognize that and he'll let us pass through. So we've got pretty much, we've got the second last key card. I keep thinking I have all of them. I'm on the second last one. That would be a disaster. So we're going to grab the last one and just make our way through. And there is one more thing to explain, which is that there are these big platforms coming up that have absolutely colossal hitboxes. Do not mess with them. You're going to see me jump around them and give them a very wide distance. We're going to social distance from these spinning pillars, because they're not fun at all. And make our way through to the boss. So, the sombrero. Let's talk about the sombrero. Now that we've explained all the game stuff, let's get to the story.
The sombrero.
The sombrero. So, at the beginning of the game, the professor walks in wearing a sombrero. And during all of this, what we're doing right now, the professor is about to sign the deal to Mom to have her buy Planet Express. Oh, I didn't social distance correctly from the pillar. I'm so sorry. But that adds a bit of excitement. We got to race against the clock to stop that contract being signed. So he's about to sign it, and basically what happens at the end of the game, there's this big toaster that respawns the crew. That's something I haven't explained. That happens at the beginning of the game. That's the little icon for lives up there. Also, this is where I'm going to stand. You just stand on, like, this tile, and you're pretty comfy. So he's about to sign it. We stop Destructor. He falls down, but he falls down on top of Frybender and Leela, and the toaster is destroyed. So they're dead. They're kaput. And the professor says, "No way will I sign this over to you. I won't do this. This is unacceptable. You've killed my crew." And Mom's like, "Oh, what if I throw in this funny hat?" And of course, like a wise man would do, the professor says yes, which kicks off the events of the game in a loop all over again. So Destructor's being a little... Oh, he's being okay. He's being okay. Also, a funny little reference to the show, I only just noticed, he shoots out the little insect robots from Hell is Other Robots. If you've got a keen eye, you might see them. Oh, that's not a nice spot to be in. There we go. Oh, he's being wonderful with the RNG. And that's it, that's time. Sorry, it sneaks up on you. It really sneaks up on you. 48-42. A little bit slow, but not too bad. Sub 50 is nice. Yeah, that was rapid fire. Thank you, everyone. That's the run.
Very nice.
It just sort of ends. But yeah, thank you to the Futurama community and ESA, I guess, just to quickly say that. Thank you so much for having me. If you want to pick up this game, we got a Discord, we got a speedrun.com page. There's a guide being put together. There's all sorts of resources out there if you want to join in. That's pretty much it that I have to say. You got anything, Liquid?
No, that's it.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. Can't believe I forgot to mention time was coming up. It's been a minute since I did it. The wonders of in-game time. But yeah, that's it.